Village Day, sponsored by Humana. Regular price tickets, $34. We're getting them for $25 for you. And then the other section would be $24 regular price. You're going to get them for $15. So some really great deals there on that particular date, February 26th. The other two dates that we have games scheduled, again with some discounts, will be Thursday, March 1st. That's going to be Boston Red Sox at Houston Astros. And on Saturday, March 17th, New York Mets at Washington Nationals. We're going to have a code set up so you can call our box office, get those discounts, or you can go online and get those discounts as well. And you will have the buses set up. I've been talking with Joy about setting up the buses to go over there, even though it's right down the street. So hope to see you all out at the ballpark. And if anybody has any questions, please feel free to grab me, and I'd be happy to help you out. Thank you, and Happy New Year.
We will be publishing all of this information in all available media. I want to thank Joy Vestal, our Vice President and editor of the Reporter, for working long and hard to get this get this thing going. I think it's a terrific opportunity for our residents. Thank you, Joy. I've run out of cards. Have I run out of guests? Have I missed anyone? Well, I don't think so. All right, why don't we hear from our officers? You'll notice Molly, our timekeeper, is not here. Anita has agreed to do timekeeping. It's because Bob Marshall was rushed in hospital. We do not know what the issues are yet. And Anita also has a very important announcement in regard to the upcoming UCO election. So why don't we just start with Anita and come right down the table. Go ahead, Anita.
Okay. Can you hear me? Thank you. Happy New Year, everyone. I'm here again on behalf of the Search and Nominations Committee. Last month I gave you 3 important dates. The first one was January 31st, when everyone who wants to run for election has to submit their bios to Ruth Dreiss at ruthdreiss@comcast.net. We told you about that. We told you about February 2nd. That's the date, the delegates meeting where we will take nominations from the floor. And the third one was March 2nd, and that's the election itself. We have another date for you today. That's February 22nd, and that's going to be the Candidates Forum. Do you all know what the Candidates Forum is? Everybody, thank you. Okay. You can ask me questions later if you want. And that date, from 1 to 3, we will have all the candidates presenting their views, and you'll be able to ask them questions. Susan Bucher, the Commissioner of Elections for Palm Beach County, has agreed to moderate the forum again. Very good for us. She's been a friend of the village for many, many years. In your delegate packet at the end, you'll find 2 announcements. One is on the UCO elections, all of the guidelines for submitting your bios, and the other one is on the Candidates Forum. It would be great if you could post those on your bulletin boards at your associations and share them. All residents are welcome for any of what's going on. Unit owners may run for election. All residents may come to the Candidates Forum. And now I'm going to give you an update on the bios that we've received. For UCO President, David Israel from Greenbrier C. Marcia Zaccardi from Chatham R. For Vice President, Phyllis Richland from Somerset K. Corresponding Secretary, Sandra Cooper, Wellington M. For Executive Board, George Franklin, Wellington K. Bobby Levin, Somerset A. Hayward Williams, Oxford 200, and Roger Hotelling, Windsor R. Those are the ones we have so far. I understand that more are coming in, and I urge you to think about serving the village and putting your name in for election. We need many more names in order to have a really competitive election this time. Thank you so much. Do I have any questions? We're good. We're done. Thank you.
Thank you, Anita. Bobby?
In your packet today is the announcement for the annual Volunteer Appreciation Lunch. We've got a terrific afternoon planned for everybody. Wonderful menu, professional entertainment. The gentleman is now in Nashville recording an album. It should be quite entertaining. Please sign or make out a reservation form and leave it at the UCO information desk. If we don't know how many people are coming, we won't be able to order enough food. Also, the UCO installation luncheon this year will be held on Saturday, March 17th, on board the Grand Celebration, which is docked at the Port of Palm Beach. We have a wonderful menu planned. They're offering us a full plated dinner. We will have professional entertainment also from the ship. The cost is $20 per person. It would be wonderful to have a representative from each association at this luncheon. Tables can be set up, tables of 4, 6, or 8. The reservation form will be in the next UCO reporter and also can be found at the UCO information desk. Please, we hope to see everybody at both of these wonderful parties.
Good morning, everyone, and Happy New Year. I wanted to announce at the February 2nd meeting, when the candidates announce from the floor, we will have a photographer who will be available in the lobby to take your picture at that point so that it can appear in the UCO Reporter. If you have already run for office before, we will check to see whether we have some file art on you. However, Bob Rivera has volunteered to help us take these pictures. So you'll look for Bob after the February 2nd meeting if you intend to be a candidate running from the floor. Another note I should mention is that with this ballpark days that we're going to have, there will be a bus available for 2 of the games, and that's the game on the February 26th and the game on March 1st. We have 2 monitors, baseball bus monitors, who will be on the bus with you to make sure that you arrive and get home safely. The buses, of course, are our buses, so there's no parking fee if you go. And we can take as many people as want to go. There is no limit to how many people can go on the bus. We have been assured that if the bus holds about 50 to 55 people, if there's more, they will make more than one run, but they'll make sure that everybody arrives on time for the game. The first game, of course, is with the Mets, and that's the one where Humana is partnering with us. And as the young lady said, the tickets are a really very good price. So we hope we have a good turnout, particularly Century Village Day. If you have a shirt, if you had volunteered for or given money to the honor flight and you had received the shirt, then you have that shirt, try to wear it that day. It shows Century Village. We're going to try to get some outside coverage to show the area that we are here and that we enjoy our life. Okay? We also have the 5K run is going to be held on the 19th, and that's being sponsored by CSI. I don't have any other information at this point. I'm in touch with them. I'll try to get something in the next edition of the paper so that if you want to register, we'll find out what days the registration is and where it's going to be held. We hope that you have a good turnout for that. All proceeds are going to our honor flight. So there again, we have a lot of activities taking place for our residents, and hopefully you can enjoy them. And if you have any suggestions on any others, please let me know. Thank you.
Thank you, Joy. John?
I just want to wish everybody a Happy New Year, and that's it for today. Thank you.
Stuart?
Happy New Year to everybody. It was gratifying to drive around the village this holiday season and see so many of the buildings decorated. I hope that next year we'll see more buildings decorated in the holiday fashion. Many of the buildings, many of the associations are having their annual meeting. I will be available. If you would like me to attend, just contact me at the UCO office and let me know when, and I will be glad to go there. In the north, it is snowing. In Florida, the iguanas are falling. There is an iguana alert. If you don't know it, they're falling off the trees because they're being shocked by the cold weather. If this, please watch out, look up. If they are on the ground, stay away from them because they're slightly in a comatose state. You never know when they're going to wake up and go after you. So don't be curious, just walk away, and when they fully awake, they're going to climb back up into the tree. So that's just a little bit of advice, and now I'm passing on to my next VP.
Good morning, everyone. Happy, healthy New Year.
Hold on. Olga, do you have something for Stuart?
No, this goes back
Can
to
you-
the installation dinner.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Did I hear correctly that you're planning on the installation dinner on a Saturday? I'm not a religious person, but I just want to say it's an affront to the Jewish community to have an installation dinner for Century Village on a Saturday. I just want you to know that I feel ashamed that you even consider that. And remember, I'm not a religious person, and I'm not even Jewish, but I just want my voice heard on that subject. Thank you.
Thank you, Olga. Eddie?
To go forward with what I was about to talk about, we do have a solution for people who have lost contact with their box and Comcast. So if you find you've lost cable television, come into us to the office. We have a form provided by Seth Parker that gives resolution of that problem, and we've had a number of people find it very successful. So feel free to stop in and we'll walk you through the steps you have to take. Thanks.
Cam.
Good morning, everyone. I just have one item to report today. In the past month or so, there's been an increase in reports of dumpsters that are beyond deteriorated. This is not just a couple of holes. These are dumpsters without even bottoms in them. In the past, the commissioner was kind enough to offer her office to host a meeting between representatives of UCO, Solid Waste Authority, and Waste Pro, our garbage contractor. I intend to ask for that courtesy again, and we're going to see if we can work out some of these issues. In the meantime, if everyone could just go out and take a good look at their dumpster, it would save me a lot of rubber on my golf cart. Take a picture, send it to me at ucomaintenance@gmail.com, and I'll add it to the list. I would say all of the requests, assuming that they're founded, are eventually responded to. They're pretty good about that, but it takes a while. So as soon as you get the reports into me, the sooner they'll be replaced. And in the meantime, we'll work on the real bad cases. Thank you.
I want to add something to this. Donald takes a lot of pictures of these rotting dumpsters. And we've got one where a number of syringes, also known as sharps, are seen on the ground. Not to make too fine a point on this is a violation of federal law. Somebody gets stuck by one of these needles, they have to go through, pardon my French, holy hell in terms of testing. Folks, put them in some kind of solid container. A very good example, I'm diabetic, I have them in the laundry detergent bottles. They can't puncture through that. And find a source. My doctor gladly accepts them, just dumps them into his biohazard can. Don't throw these needles into the trash stream. I mean, you have no idea what someone has to go through if they accidentally get stuck, because who knows what is going to be transmitted by that needle. All right? Just a thought. I couldn't believe that picture when Donald showed it to me. All right. Thank you, Donald. We have no unfinished business. Is there any new business to come before delegate assembly? Come on, Lenore. All right.
Lenore Velkoff, Wellington D., and also the Wellington Federation. Meaning no disrespect to Bob Marshall, I would like to propose an amendment. If any officer is unable to perform his or her duties for a period of 3 months or more, the executive board shall appoint a person to fill those duties until the next regular election.
Can you hold on? Can you consider bringing this to advisory? I mean, obviously, Lenore, I have nothing against what you said, but this really has to go to the attorney, and then it comes through from advisory. I mean, you know the process, and to the officers, to the executive board, and then it will be voted on here.
By the time that happens, our election will be over. Is there no way to do something on a temporary basis?
Well,
Because no disrespect to Bob Marshall, he's been a fine vice president. However, our quadrant has not had a vice president for many months.
yeah, it does throw a lot more work on other VPs. I agree with you. But again, please bring this to the advisory committee, and it will go through a process. Yes, it will take time, and these changes take time deliberately.
Tuesday's the advisory.
And we have a meeting Tuesday.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Lenore.
Lenore, we have a meeting on Tuesday at 10 o'clock in the UCO conference room. If you'd like to bring that amendment, we have a bunch of amendments that we're going to process. And if you would like to do that, we would include it with them and process them fairly quickly. Again, probably not
Yeah.
by the election.
These things can be fast-tracked. There's no doubt about it. And I think you've touched on a very important issue of officers who are, for one reason or another, usually health incapacitated. So yeah, we'll look at that one, and we'll run it past the lawyer, and we'll fast-track it. Okay?
George Nathan, Windsor C. A short time ago, there was a pamphlet in the UCO office about a firm that could clean the dumpsters. And I had called them, and they said a price was being negotiated with UCO. I want to know if anything came of that.
I'm not saying no, but it's exceedingly expensive. They did a demo on the recycle bins, which is a very simple case. They have a grabber that picks it up. They can't do that with the big metal dumpsters. That's a manual process. Because of the cost, we're not really looking at it seriously. But Donald, did we get a formal proposal?
No, we do not have a formal proposal, but the associations can contract separately with any one of these
Yeah, well,
vendors.
what he's saying is maybe we could do a bulk thing and it'd be a little cheaper. We'll look into it. Absolutely.
It might
Sure.
help cut down some of the flies and vermin that you have
No
there.
doubt.
Yeah, so.
No
okay.
doubt.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you very much.
All right. Barbara.
Barbara Cornish, Chatham M. I have great respect also for Bob Marshall. He served us very well in this community. But back a few months ago, I went to David and I said, why can't we get a name of someone who's willing to serve as an interim that would be approved by this body right here, the delegates? And then if he came back, that person would step down, because you are working with one less vice president. That's a lot of work on the other vice presidents. I know, I've been one. And I think that you, as a body up there of officers, could automatically at a meeting get a name, if you have any, and put it up to this delegate assembly as an interim, because by the time we do the advisory, as you well know, it's going to take a long time, and you are going to be without a vice president. That is not right for the village. So the officers should think very hard on this.
All right, hold on. Hold on. We can certainly go through the process. There's one little piece missing. Yes, Bob is ill, but he hasn't signed the letter of resignation. Once that's done, we would do exactly what Barbara just said. I mean, you know what the process is. The officers would pick a willing candidate, which would have to be ratified by the delegate assembly. We'll try to work that problem a little harder. Bob has a long and distinguished history here, and I don't want to be pushing anybody off the raft. So let us work it. Ed.
Well, quick comment on that.
This is, by the way, folks, this is new business, all right? A lot of what we're getting now is good of the order, not that it matters, because there was no new business. Go ahead.
No,
go ahead.
I can come back up. I want to bring to everybody's attention at the last delegate assembly, I talked about the proliferation of people feeding the ducks. Okay. And I said that we had someone from the Fish and Wildlife come up and speak to that individual. And 20 minutes later, she was feeding the ducks again. Okay. What I'm saying, and Eva got up and said it cost us $50 a duck. I feel that as a group, we should send a comment in to the Fish and Wildlife. We've been calling him. We have the person who came out. We were told there's a case number and we can't get any information. Now, Fish and Wildlife is very close to here. In fact, I said to that individual, I'd be willing to go down to their office. That individual doesn't want to become a persona non grata in his association. But that's a lack of respect. His backyard is full. And by the way, he has a guest every day, too, when they're there. He has like a 6-foot-long alligator, which still hasn't been caught. The other quick thing, and you say that's new business, but I think it's a continuation. We had the start of a multitude of public speakers here, which preempted our delegate assembly. When we get to the good of the order, 28% run out the door. In the past, when we had this proliferation of politicians, we put them at the end. And I would like to suggest that in all due respect, they should be at the end. Because unfortunately, after this, and we go to the good of the order, we lose a lot of people. And there's a lot of stuff to bring up at the good of the order. So I would like to suggest that you rearrange the schedule and put those people who want to come and be elected, put at the end of the meeting.
As I recall now, we did that last year.
Yes, and I think it was a good suggestion.
Idea. We'll put the distinguished guests at the end. Quite right. Thank you. All right. Committee reports, obviously, they're in your packet, as usual. And we are now in good and welfare. Anyone wished? I think we've been in good and welfare, but please come forward. Jack.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the Delegate Assembly, fellow unit owners and guests. My name is Jack Adams, Coventry K, and I stand before you today to announce that I will be submitting to my buyout to UCO to run for the office of President of UCO. I will try to briefly state my platform for the office. Please, please allow me to help you and your fellow unit owners to secure the services of a professional at a salary not to exceed $100,000 per year to become the salaried president of UCO. This individual will possess all the necessary skills and qualifications to lead and administer the office of the UCO president, with particular emphasis on contract award and management. With particular emphasis on contract award and management. While some of you may feel that UCO cannot afford the additional cost of this salary, please allow me to remind you that the combined UCO and WPRF budgets total approximately $14 million. If we were to hire someone for $140,000, that sum would equal 1% of the two budgets this president would either manage directly, as in the case of UCO, or oversee, as in the case of WPRF. The $100,000 sum is actually equal to 0.7% of these two budgets. Not only can we afford to do this, but I would suggest that we cannot afford not to do so. This organization is too large and too complicated to be managed by any volunteer, including myself. If elected within 150 days of assuming office, I will present to you, the Delegate Assembly, an individual for your consideration to become the UCO salaried president. At that time, my voluntary position would be eliminated, and I would serve for an additional 90 days strictly in an advisory capacity to assist only when requested with the transition. The various UCO volunteer positions currently served by our dedicated unit owners would remain unchanged. Thank you very much for your time and consideration today. The iguanas aren't the only ones who are agitated in this cold weather.
Would you like to present that for the minutes? The copy?
Sure.
All right. So without objection, that will be accepted as part of the minutes of the meeting. George?
George Franklin, Wellington K. Just want to remind you, you have it in your packet, to the 24th of this month at 10 o'clock, Classroom C, we have the State of Florida Financial Division coming down, and they'll be talking about scams and rip-offs in senior